I think you said that.
You know?
You know, yeah.
You know?
Okay, you got 1 hour. I'm timing you,
Well, now
man.
it's timing me. Oh, you broke the mic? No, it didn't.
That was on the mic?
No, it's totally
You
fine.
have to put it back.
No, I think they would just keep falling off.
Okay.
Why?
It doesn't matter.
It buffers the sound.
You see,
I'm gonna get
mine
out of
fell
here
as
'cause
well.
I'm a nuisance.
When do we
I'm
start?
gonna listen to it when I come back.
We
You
started
boys are
15
the
minutes ago.
Did we really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you want to start it some way?
Yeah, I want to start it with, so people are watching now, right?
They can, they don't have to.
Okay.
They
Or they could just be listening. I want to
I'll be
start
listening
with pranayama.
Okay.
My favorite is, I believe in Sanskrit, it's called the Durga Swasam. Swasam with a V, so SV. And it's the deep breathing, or you could call it like the 3-part breath. So let's close our eyes for a moment. And anyone can do this, even the people who aren't watching, they can do this. Let's
Do you have a
close our
certain
eyes.
pose?
Yeah.
You sit somewhere?
Spine erect, but not stiff. Shoulders up, back, and now relaxed. Eyes closed, breath relaxed. Let's exhale completely, drawing in the abdomen. Inhale, expand in the abdomen. Continuing to inhale, feeling the chest expand. Continuing to inhale, maybe feeling the collarbone rise. And then slowly with control, exhaling. Let's do that 2 more times at our own pace. All right. Thank you for that.
Thank you for doing it. You know what? I would check it twice because if this is the vibe that we are doing, I love it already. And I don't want anyone to miss anything. Yeah, it keeps going. You're in the frame. I'm in the frame. Okay, Dominic, I wanted to start. We're going to start with the meditation. You've done it, so it's in the beginning of the show. But my first question for you, expectation for the whole show, simple conversation. We're not going too deep. We're not going too shallow. We are the flow up here. So wherever you want to go, I will follow. Wherever I feel like the river can go, I will open the door. You can go through. You don't have to.
Sounds good.
Oh my goodness, I can feel your energy in the room, so I will speak that language. So, Dominic, what's your definition of peace?
Definition. You want me to define peace?
I'm asking because it feels like everyone has something different.
Yeah. So at some point in my practice, which, by the way, I call it a path of healing. It began 27 years ago on July 17th, 1998. At some point, with the healing that I have been doing, I moved away from labels. So when someone says, "Can you define this?" It's challenging. Like I could get a dictionary and I can read it, what the definition is, but I could just say, maybe not being able to define it, but I could say what it feels like for me to be at peace. And that would be not experiencing any anxiety, just feeling a level of comfort within the body, and of course the mind. Yeah. Do you want more than that? I could.
No.
Okay.
You go as far as
Yeah.
it feels
Yeah, I'll
right.
keep it simple and just say there's a calmness within the body and the mind. And that what's so funny is that, because for those people who don't know, we're at the Kadampa Center in Glen Spee, New York. And you've been here, what, now over a month?
I've been over a month, and you've been?
I've been here 3 weeks. And there's this, people talk a lot about enlightenment and, you know, there's a certain goal. And my only goal was to not be so disturbed all the time. I was in a constant state of disturbance. And as a result of it, I was hurting myself and other people. So my goal was just to find some peace. That was it. And I feel like I've found it, or not, it's not all the time, but it was like this, like the peace was maybe non-existent, and then maybe it was 1% and 2%, and it was like that scales of justice. I'm a Libra, so at one point it was even, but now it's more of, for the most part, I feel at ease with myself. Or if I was gonna label it anything, I would say equanimous.
That the peace is equanimous.
Yeah, content. That came from moving away from judgment. Marcus Aurelius had said, "It is judgment that defeats us." And I clearly see that when I'm judging, I end up suffering. And I want to be of service to others. So if I'm judging, then not only am I suffering, but I won't, or I should say, the way that I could serve others is very limited. It's more, I found, more hurtful than helpful.
On the day we met, I gotta tell you, like, those are the things I didn't tell you, so I think that's a very good time. When you came over to the dining room, I saw your face, I saw your smile. You were already smiling. But you know what? I saw that face on Slack. And like, I knew what kind of person that is. It's either going to be such a lovely, like, heartwarming, caring person, or it's going to be a psycho. And he'll be like, guys, you know, there's something around us. Like, you were the first heartwarming type. And there was 6 of us. Let's say 6 of us.
Yeah.
And I think everyone felt like the steadiness in the room. So you're bringing that with you. And even though you may say that you didn't have peace at the time, you get the practice that we're going to talk about today.
Wow.
That you just came with the practice in the room, and you just started talking how you're of the service to others.
Yeah.
And that's what I heard seconds ago.
Wow. Thank you so much for saying that, Jacob. Especially the part where you felt that immediately upon my arrival, because as I had said, which the people who are listening and watching don't know, I'm getting the chills just thinking about it. I arrived at a very, very dark moment in my life. Probably in the last 27 years since I've been on this path of healing, there had only been 2 times that I had been that low, and this was worse than the other one. It was maybe about 10 years ago. And yeah, I walked in and I saw your smile and all these other people, and it just felt like home for the moment, and I needed that.
You said we're gonna go away from the labels. So please tell me, how does home feel like?
Yeah.
What did you feel when you came over here?
Safe. Yeah, understand that I come from a very different world, and it was something I wanted to share with your mom. I wanted to get on and say, whatever you've done an amazing job with this young man. And I felt like your parents could even write a book on how to raise children because of who you are.
That's going to be a wink for my sister. I'm like, used to know, you know what I'm thinking.
I've been raised in an extremely violent household. If I wasn't being abused myself, then I was witnessing abuse. I believe that I was being traumatized while in the womb. So before I even came out, I was being hurt. And so coming out into this world and then experiencing all that abuse, it was rare that I had felt safe. I ran away when I was 13 years old. Who runs away when they're 13? I never went home. I chose to live in on the subway trains, on the platforms, the subway trains, abandoned cars, abandoned rooftops. That felt more safe to me than in my own household. But as time had gone on, of course, the safety became different. I'm not afraid of being physically harmed, but I might be living in a place like, to be honest, it feels a little unsafe sometimes in the room because I can't sleep. And you know why, right? So that to me it isn't safe for me. So yeah, so it may not be that I'm gonna get stabbed, or but it's interrupting my flow of peace. And I had spent some time with learning about Swami Satchidananda's teachings, and he would say, and I don't label myself any like, I'm not connected to any religion and I don't follow anybody, but I can learn from people. And he would say, protect your peace at all costs. So that's why I had to leave the room to find some peace in my sleep.
And he found it just a dorm away.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned that was like a mental state of disturbance before, and this, would you let's call it, define it as a like physical disturbance, like as well with the sleeping wise?
Yeah, major one. My experience, for people who don't know, it may be hard for them to relate, but the people who know they'll feel it in their hearts when you don't get sleep, when sleep is difficult to come by. At least for me, everything's a struggle. There are times where I hadn't slept for so long where I felt like I was dying. And I shared that with a friend, and she said, you were dying, like your body literally is like shutting down, is dying. You need the sleep. And I could never understand when they had those movies and they would show, like, they would keep them in this like room, they would keep a prisoner in a room and they would blast music and they'd keep the lights on, they'd blast like heavy metal, and that was like a torture technique. And I would think, well, how is that torture? Like, at some point you're going to get tired and you're going to fall asleep. But no, the nervous system won't allow it. So yeah, I had been so stressed at different times of my life that my nervous system wouldn't allow me to rest the way my body needed it.
So what brings you back to the state of peace?
Yeah, that's a beautiful question. Thank you for asking that.
I think I can ask any simple question and you'd be like, that's what I do, that's how I do. Because it's a beautiful, like, you've come from a place, now you're in a different place, like you've been transitioning through stages in your life. But at the same time, there's not so many people that they can say that they saw it, they felt it, the state of peace.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think you mentioned that you just felt that I'm at peace right now. That's the moment that I felt it. That's the moment it touched my heart, touched my mind, touched my soul. And I'm thinking, how do you bring yourself back, no matter how many disturbances there are around you, to the state of I am myself, I am at peace?
Yeah, thank you for asking that question. I love talking about this stuff.
Oh, you do?
For me, and that's all I can share, like what works for me. I don't know if it would work for anybody else. And I'm still learning. I'm still learning what brings me back to that place. I can tell you that recently what's revealed itself was my basic needs have to be met. Like, if the basic needs aren't met, if I don't have a safe place to rest, or I don't have nutrition, I'm going to suffer. Who knows in what way, but there's going to be suffering involved. So those basic needs have to be met. And then I get into the good stuff. Then I get into my practices, and then I just like bathe in it. And it's so funny because at different times I do online dating. I'm not a fan of it, but I don't really hang out in a lot of places where people are always gathering and like want to connect. So I found myself doing that at times. And on one of my profiles, it says, I touch the magic in my heart. And I mean that, like there's magic within, and I touch that. Helen Keller had said, what I've been searching for, I found within. And that magic came from my own experiences, a consistent practice of a consistency with practices of self-care and self-love. It's that simple. So I can tell you what it means to me, but for everyone it might look a little different. Yeah.
I'm smiling so much because there was Cole and James, that they were volunteers up here, and they will get the podcast for sure, because it's the things that we were talking with them about. Like, we just sat on the bed the first day and we just spoke for an hour and a half about like relationships, love, peace, understanding oneself, and like finding your own place in community. And it's so beautiful because I wanted to be like you when I grow up, when I was when I was younger, like finding the state of understanding myself. And like you have the realization right now that this is never-ending story. Like it goes on and goes on and goes on. So tell us about the practices, because those guys and everyone is listening to it.
Yeah. There's a lot, like a lot. And
you wake up.
Yeah, the moment I wake up, I kiss my hands, I kiss myself.
Oh, how do you do it?
I go, good morning, beautiful self. I put my hands on my heart and I say, good morning, beautiful self. I keep my hands on my heart, my eyes closed. It's the first thing I do when I wake up. I don't look at the time, I don't look at anything. Keep my hand on my heart. And I say, I'm here for you. I got you. And then I direct where I want to go. I want to be an example of compassion. I want to be an example of trust, of joy, of laughter. That's like massive for me, man, laughter. So however I want to direct it, sometimes it changes a little bit, but mainly it's about giving myself what I need and being of service to other people. So that's how it starts off. And then I'll go into, by the way, I don't think, from my own experience, I don't think much of this would happen if it wasn't for a consistent practice of meditating. That's a big deal for me, because I think that it's helped me become disciplined. Like, because I was being disciplined in that one area, I seem to have found discipline in all areas, especially of the mind, like being aware of the mind goes, but I'm going to get to that in just a second. So wake up, and then I'll do either yoga or qigong. No, first I'll do the breath work. So I'll do like 15 minutes of breath work, which for me, if I could only choose one out of all the stuff that I'm doing, I would say the breath work for me has been the most profound. So I do about 15 minutes of breath work, and then I'll do some yoga, some qigong. I'll alternate, and then I'll meditate. And so it's, you know how I look at it, like, you know how, like, if an army was dropping bombs on something, right? They don't just drop the bombs. After they drop the bombs, they send in the troops. It was like that. I'm dropping these massive bombs in the beginning, as soon as I wake up, of self-care and self-love. And then I send in troops right after, and the troops, I just stay consistent with it throughout the day. And mainly that's being mindful of what I'm thinking, where my thoughts are going. Mm-hmm. Because often it could go in a place, and I'm not going to use the language of good or bad or right or wrong. I realize that that's, what is it called? Objective? Because I could say, like, I'll always use this as an example because it's so profound. When the Twin Towers were attacked and they came down, and so many people were like, this is the worst thing that could have happened. But it was a whole country maybe not a whole country, but there were many people who thought this was like the best thing that could have happened. So who's right, who's wrong? Well, you would say, well, murder's wrong. I don't claim to know anything. I would just say, instead of using right or wrong, good or bad, is it serving myself and is it serving others? So I'm very mindful of where my mind's going, because it could easily go to a place where I'm not of service to myself and other people. So I'm very, very careful. In Vipassana, they would say, be like, have border patrol at each of our senses. So we want to be careful what we're taking in, and then, yeah, what we're taking in. So if I'm listening to music all day that's talking about hurting other people, then there's a really good chance the mind's gonna kind of twist around maybe and not being helpful the way that I'd like to be, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. You're
Okay.
answering every single question just comes. So you're like pulling threads, like you're pulling the thread out for me to grab it. But then you're like, I'm gonna grab it, dude. I'm taking care of you right now. That's awesome. It's like you're being a service to me right now.
I love
I'm
it.
so happy to just sit down here and just listen to you. It's a privilege.
I want to share a Sanskrit proverb, but I'll share it in English so that everybody knows. Look to this day, for it is life, the very life of life. In its brief course lie all the realities and verities of existence, the bliss of growth, the splendor of action, the glory of power. For yesterday is but a dream, and tomorrow is only a vision. But today well lived makes every yesterday a dream of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Look well, therefore, to this day. Yeah, so the meditation helps me with that. It's all about the moment. How am I treating the moment? And if it wasn't for those practices, I don't think that I would. I just don't believe that I would have found the magic that I found and have been able to offer the gift of my attention to other people, which is really, I found to be really important.
Let's think about the action you mentioned, because
Yeah.
the first day we had a conversation at dining hall, you mentioned that you were at the service to others, and that's the way you found yourself.
Oh, yeah, my happiness. I said that's where the happiness comes from, the joy, yeah.
So, what kind of action is it?
Well, it's any type of service. It's, I found it in, I should say I became aware of it after going through Vipassana. And for those people who don't know what Vipassana is, actually, I don't know what it is. All I know is that I had attended a Vipassana, I would not call it a retreat. I visited a Vipassana center and it was silent for 10 days. No, they remove all escapes. So there's no reading, there's no writing, there's no yoga. They say whatever you've done in the past, do not do for 10 days. They say just, they teach you a technique that they believe Buddha had used over 2,500 years ago to bring himself to enlightenment. So they say, just use this technique for 10 days. It took us 3 days, 77 hours, in meditating, no, I'm sorry, 33 hours. We're meditating 11 hours a day. So 33 hours in 3 days just to prepare for the technique. And by the time I left that place, I was sitting there like, what is the purpose of being here then? Like, because when everything was removed, when there's no, there was like nothing to grasp onto, there was no escape. That question of who am I just took on new meaning to me. And I really thought, what am I doing here? Like, what makes sense? Now, if anybody can find like what makes sense, then I want to know what makes sense to people. I'd love to know what makes sense to you, but nothing made sense to me when I left that place. And then a few months later, I ended up at Yogaville, Swami Satchidananda Ashram, but they call it Yogaville because nobody would go to Swami Satchidananda Ashram. And the environment that's created is one where it only exists because of people being of service, the way you and I and Jojo and Aniston are doing here. The place can only exist if if their basic needs are met and they're selflessly giving themselves. And I'm getting the chills just saying it, that's where it hit me. The joy. I could be in the scrubbing dishes for hours. People would say, how do you look so happy scrubbing dishes for hours? There was joy in it. It was joy in it. And I clearly saw that by being of service, that's where my joy came from.
If you could describe a person, like just a group of a community that you're looking forward to meet, what kind of community would that be?
People like you.
Let's finish on that. Okay.
But wait, I want to know what it's the purpose for you. Like when I said, when everything was gone, that question of what am I doing here takes on new meaning. Have you ever asked yourself that?
Many times.
Have you come up with answers?
So right now, I can tell you exactly what my life mission is. Yet I would just rephrase, like come back to, I've been listening to many podcasts, many articles. I wrote myself lots of posts on Instagram and like different social media about purpose, about like meaning of like love, meaning of wisdom. What does it mean to just find your own way, find your own people in life? And those kind of questions are really just putting a big toll on your heart and being, okay, now we're going to question every single thing in your life. Because like, for example, love, that's we spoke with Samata yesterday, that love is entangled in every single thing we do. We may not see it, we may see it, but it's, if we change our meaning of love, every single action that we do is going to change. That's why I really reciprocate. I really resemble the way you see the world in the sense of service to others. That if you actually exterminate every single selfishness, every single like outer layer of life, what's left? Love, peace, kindness, community. Those are the 4 words that I'm always looking forward to. And if someone brings them up on the first conversation we ever had, that's the way I'm feeling. You mentioned peace, you mentioned love, you mentioned service. I kind of think community was like...
service, I did. Yeah, community and service.
Yeah, that's what it brings. So that's a very good indicator. But I think joy is very reasonable. So that's my top 5. Love, peace, kindness, community, and joy. Somewhere. But my life mission, answering that question, is to bring smile, especially genuine smile to others, and connect kind people around the world. And even though it may seem so grand, I put it as my purpose, but there's so many different purposes, so many different pursuits I may have in my life. Like I want to be a great father once in my life. I want to marry a girl that I can make a beautiful world with her. I want to raise children to show them how beautiful life can be through kindness and love. I want to build my own summer camp one day and just bring all the community of adults and children in one place. It excites me. It brings me the joy. But it may be so grand, but what life is it?
Grand? I wouldn't label it grand. Well, in a way,
in the sense of like
in a way
big.
of let me just listen, please. Go ahead.
So it just feels like it's so away. Like it's so stripped off of anything else. Like you cannot touch love, but love can touch you in a sense. So it feels right. It's the moment of peace that I got a couple months ago, realizing and putting this on the paper. This is what I'm doing. And do I have to do anything more? I don't want to.
Can we just take a moment and hold space for that?
Sure we can.
Thank you for sharing that. And I want to apologize because you said grand, and then my immediate thought was as if it was unattainable, but that's not what you meant, but that's where I had gone, like, oh, it's big and it's unattainable. I'm clear that anything is possible, clear that the mind is that powerful, that we can do anything that we want.
And I think that even though that may not be what I meant, but in the back of my head, I think I meant it as well, that it can be unattainable in some sense. But like having your own summer camp, like creating a family one day, it's possible, you can make it.
Yeah.
If you actually want to do something, you're going to make it happen.
Yeah. So I come from a world where people were, I'm not sure if you could get any lower than where they were. People with needles in their arms in shooting galleries, no education, no job skills, like literally nothing. A habit, a drug habit that they were spending, they were robberies, spending hundreds of dollars just to put in their veins every day. And I've seen these people now, years later, become millionaires, living the life, the lives that they want. So I'm clear that anything is possible. If they could do it, then it's possible for anybody. What I'd like to know is, I'm curious, when you mention, I remember my brother said this a long time ago.
I hope it's something good.
Well, it was, imagine, I was so low for so long. The life I lived was extremely violent. I also had no education, no job. I was 28 years old. I'd never worked a legal job. I had a 7th grade education. I'd been shot, pushed out of a 2-story window, all this stuff, right? Been arrested 27 times, 12 as a juvenile, sentenced to 18 months in a juvenile facility, ended up in Spofford in the Bronx, like all this stuff, right? And, but still, like I remember when I first like found this path of healing, and I went on a date. I went on a date. My goodness, I must have been a wreck, man. And I said to my brother, I said, I'm not doing this, man. I'm not dating it. It was like my first date on this path of healing. And I'm like, I'm not doing this. It was too difficult. And he's like, no. He said, the healthier you become, you'll start to attract healthier women. But he had said that, if you think about it, what do you have to offer right now? And he was right. Like I was a wreck. Like I didn't really have anything to offer. Now I feel like I have much to offer, but then I didn't. So hearing you talk about being married, I want to know, what do you have to offer the woman that you'd like to connect your heart with?
I love those questions. I think it's about the drive to do good in life, to just bring the peace into the table, to take away the judgment and hold space when it's needed, especially when the struggle arises. No arguments, just a simple conversation. The power of listening, the power of understanding that we're all human and all we want to do is to be loved and sometimes just love others. I think I trust myself a bit too much sometimes. So that's what I'm working on right now, that I do trust myself as much as I always wanted to, but it just gives me the sense of being independent, that I can earn money, I can move countries, I can just go to a different part of the world tomorrow and be okay, find myself a position up there and just live my life. But at the same time, it's something I'm really working on because I have so much love in my heart and I just want to give it around. But today when I was taking a yoga nidra nap in the meditation, it struck me the sense of realization that to love someone, it doesn't mean that you have to stop loving others. That you don't want to love someone and at the same time close yourself to everyone else outside. And it doesn't mean that you're going to have romantic relationships with other people. Then when you love someone, why would you cut off every single friendship you have in your life? Why would you start hating everyone around you? Because I think hate may be an opposite end to love. And that's what I want to do. I want to bring love. I want to bring kindness. What do I have to offer? I truly don't know, but I trust myself I will bring everything what's good to the table.
I need to just take a moment and hold space for that.
I don't have to. I have too much space.
You said, it's so funny, you said, what do I have to offer? I don't know. But then before that, you mentioned all this amazing stuff. And the whole time you were talking, I was thinking, what do I know you a little bit, and I was thinking, what do I see you being able to offer? And like the biggest thing was kindness, man. And so I'm glad that you said that. For me, I think that's massive. I haven't always been able to offer that in a relationship. Sadly, it breaks my heart to say that. It breaks my heart when I think about how I haven't consistently been able to offer that. And that's what I believe that you would be able to offer. And from what I've been able, the relationships that I've been in, they weren't really asking for much but that. But someone to treat them with kindness and honor their choices. And but I'm sure you'll have women contacting you saying, and this and that and that and that, and they're all beautiful things. Yeah, I want to know what they are. But I have a baseline that Julie, do you mind if I share it?
Yeah, go for
Julie
it.
shared this with me today, and this was a beautiful, beautiful baseline. With 5 A's, attention. Oh, so these are the 5 A's, principles for mindful loving in a healthy relationship. It was attention, acceptance, appreciation, affection, and allowing. And yeah. And I had done well in most of those areas, but for some reason, the allowing, man, I found myself, the judgment has set in some relationships, and then there was a little bit of control, and I wasn't very allowing, and it had hurt these precious, precious hearts, these women who have shared their precious heart with me, and I had, I'll use the language I'm okay with saying, I had failed miserably at holding space, a loving and safe space for them. And I hope when I get into the next relationship, not I hope, like I believe, man. I believe that it's going to be different because of what I've learned in my past experiences, because that's not what I want to offer.
So do you already know, did you learn that lesson, that concept and realization of how do you let go?
Let go of what? Specific? Let go of the control, you mean? And
The control, the judgment, the fear of losing someone, the fear of not being enough.
Yeah, I'd like to believe, they say more will be revealed over time. So my practice as I'm going through life and I'm on this path of healing, that I'm learning more and more about myself. By the way, let me just say this. They say that you're going to spend the rest of your life with you. So you should see to it that you're in good company. So I'm doing all these things to make sure that I'm in good.
I'm thinking. I hope you have the thought. So I wanted to go as like my mind works in jokes. Like I have lots of things, lots of puns in my life, but it's not that I want to say a joke right now. But I was thinking, you're gonna live with yourself, and imagine you have a mirror in front of you in your room. You're gonna have 2 of you, and then the wisdom of this place, like the temple we live in, the experience of, let's say, the lifetime I had so far, brings me the idea that all the people around you are the mirrors of who you are. Especially in the actions that you do with them and whatever you have with them.
Yeah, and you just gave me another idea by saying mirrors. I wonder if it would be helpful when I'm like, sometimes I'm in a relationship and I'm feeling angry or whatever it is that I feel isn't serving me and will prevent me from serving my partner. If I was to put a mirror in front of me in that moment, I wonder if that would help. Because what I noticed is it's only afterwards, after I had hurt the precious heart, what a child I was. Like I was like a little child. There's a photograph of me when I'm like 6 years old and I'm on the couch and I'm like this. and my friends are surround there. I have a couple of friends in the room, and they're all looking at the camera, smiling, and my brother's looking at the camera, smiling, and I'm like this. And I was married for a while. By the way, she's my best friend today. I was married for 10 years, and she saw that photograph, and she said, "Oh my God, you still behave that way now." So like all these years later, I still like behave like that child. So I wonder if, I have a funny story to share. I wonder if by putting a mirror in front of me, I bet it would change. Would you mind if I share
I
this
have one
story?
for you too.
Well, share yours.
Okay,
I'm not going to
a
forget
very
mine.
simple one. So, the love advice that I got myself from someone, and that I would love to like share with every single person I meet, as long as I remember that, is when you are with your partner, have a picture of themselves, like them as a child on your phone. So when you communicate with them, you know who you're talking to. And you ain't gonna hurt that little child. Come on.
I love that. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. I dated a woman, her name was Heidi, and I'm glad I could say her name. I couldn't say her name for years because it hurt my heart so much when we had broken up. She was younger than me, maybe about 15 years younger than me. I was probably 45. She might have been about 30. And I was mad. I was like acting like a child, but couldn't see it. I couldn't see it, Jacob. And then we were doing yard work in the back, and after like a few minutes, she looked at me and she said, "Does the baby want a bottle?" Now you would think that I would get mad, right? Like people, you would think that somebody would get mad. I loved it. I laughed because it was like a light shining on me. You child, look at yourself. And once she said that and I laughed, I was like, oh my goodness. And then I was able to be back. But yeah, so you were saying, how do I let go of that? I'm still learning. I think some things that you had mentioned would help, maybe having the picture, continuing to take care of myself, remembering who I'm talking to, really being, I hate using language that people use all the time. Like I want to say really being present, but that, what does that mean exactly, right? I want to say that, holding space for my hurt, right? Like I'm going to be, if I'm hurting in that moment, this woman that I knew that I know, and she was like some kind of trauma specialist in prisons or something. She would say that you can hug yourself. She'd go like this. So I'm holding space in that way, telling myself that I'm okay and I'm here for me. I think giving myself what I need in that moment, I'll be less likely to lash out. And I think what happens is I'm not sure. Like this is still I'm still learning. I think what happens is at some point in the relationship I feel unsafe. Like if I feel, you said before something about listening, and if I feel like my need for listening isn't being heard or isn't being met, then I start to pull back a little bit, and then I notice I end up disconnecting, and then my attitude changes. And if you don't mind, I want to share another thing that Julie shared with me today, because I said to her, I said, I feel lonely. I feel lonely. And this thing that she gave me really resonates with me, because, I could say I feel lonely and someone's going to be like, you're trying to fix me or tell me what I'm doing wrong and all this stuff. I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear that. And she shared this with me, and it it really hit my heart. Have you ever heard of Carl Jung? Jung.
Possibly, yes.
Loneliness does not come from having no people around you, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important to you. Loneliness is rarely about empty rooms. It is about carrying words you cannot say and truths you do not feel safe to share. Healing is learning to speak what matters most so you are no longer alone with it. This is the work of letting yourself be seen and known for who you really are. And so what happened was, over the years, because I moved around so much, and I'm not on social media, and I've never been on social media, and I've never been one to keep in contact with people, that I found that people to connect with on that level, for me, it's been harder and harder to find. My brother was the one. He was the one I could always turn to, and he was no longer here. And when he had died, I felt like a piece of me died with him. So,
How do you feel now?
equanimous.
Equanimous. That's the emotion. I feel well. You keep hearing that, like, they teach you that word in school, like, well. How do you feel? Well.
Elaborate. I was going to ask you, elaborate.
Elaborate. I feel like my heart is opened and nothing hurts anymore. That's how this conversation feels. That even though I don't have, maybe, like, let's say it differently. I want to say that I don't have the ability to understand every single piece of information or retain every single story you had. But in a sense, I think there's so much, like, the power being going from your heart into my heart and the other way around. It makes an impact. I will feel this impact maybe in a year, into maybe another life, who knows. I know the impact there is there. It just feels right. I feel well.
Thank you for sharing that. And speaking of that, I have to say, I want to just rewind all the way back to the beginning. I said it, but this is worth repeating. I will say some things sometimes, and I'll say, this is worth repeating. It's worth repeating that I was in such a low place, and when I walked in and I saw you running around with the lightsaber and with, like, the biggest smile on your face, I couldn't, my heart couldn't help it. My heart couldn't help but just kind of open up, and yeah, my heart started to smile, man. I started to smile again, and I hadn't. When you saw me smile, I want you to know that I hadn't smiled for quite some time before you saw that smile. So maybe that's why it was so big, because it was like, yeah, my heart just exploded. Grateful to you and your energy and what you offer.
Thank you for choosing you. Like, you can choose to be someone else every single day, but when you wake up, you're grateful for this precious life that we have, like you have. It's so genuine. And that's the, like, genuine smile I saw, that even though I could have even assumed that you may be hurting inside, because, like, all of us are hurting.
Yeah.
We had so many conversations so far here, like, there's hurt in everyone. Thank you for the hug today. Like, this helped a lot too. Like, I'm hurting myself, and even though it feels like peace most of the time, there's still something deep inside. Let's talk about the snowman. Deal, we're gonna finish on the snowman.
All right.
How did it make you feel?
Building the snowman?
Yeah, have you ever done it before?
Yes, when I was young. I hadn't done it in probably 40 years, maybe, or something
Wow.
like that. For those of you who don't know, I'm 55 years old, so yeah, I felt like a child seeing you playing in the snow, and then so eager to build this. Maybe you could show them the snowman, but I'm not even sure in a photograph you'll be able to grasp the size of it. So, you guys see how strong Jacob is, and he couldn't push the bottom half any longer because it was like that massive. Yeah, and then other people joining in, and Mia getting on your shoulders, and then you wrestling with Drea. It was just my heart. It was so full of joy in that moment and so full of gratitude.
This brought me the idea of community that I've been looking for so long. Yeah.
I want to share something with you about community. I was at the ashram having the same experience, and they had us write letters to ourselves that they would mail like a year later.
I'm gonna read those. I'm gonna read mine as well.
I want to
go
hear
through
it.
it. We can go through it,
Please,
yeah.
I need to hear it. And one of them said, and I know you'll relate to this, it said, "It's not the ashram, Dominic. It's you. You create this. Remember that." Yeah, and that really stuck with me, that I thought it was the place. I'm sure it has the place. They create this environment for us to be together. But I really believe that we could create the community just about anywhere. And I want to just rewind for a second, if you don't mind, when you talked about thank you for being who you are.
Choosing you.
Choosing you. That's the key word is choosing you. Because I mentor people sometimes, and this one kid kept coming to me, and he's in his 20s, and he would say, he was often at times unsure of what to do. And I would just remind him, well, if you choose this, this is the person you're choosing to be. If you do this, you're choosing to be this person. Mm-hmm. So what I've learned is that I could be anybody I want to be at any time by simply making choices, and those choices are revealing themselves all day throughout the day. Anyway, go ahead, please. I just wanted to share that.
In between when I be looking for those change of position stretch, I'm still thinking about like meditative position. I can't do it.
You can't?
How do you do that?
I'll show
How do you
you.
stay still?
I could show you. Well, this is Sukhasana. They call this the easy pose. Sukhasana is in Sanskrit. But a rule of thumb is that the hips are higher than the knees. So this
you need
isn't
a pillow?
good. So yeah, you would want to sit so that your hips are higher than the knees.
See, I have a pillow, but...
So you want to sit on a whole bunch of pillows if you're not flexible. But I thought you were flexible.
I am very flexible, but at the same time, it's just miserable feeling to me.
And then this pose is my favorite. This is called Vajrasana. Oh wait, my foot. Vajrasana, Thunderbolt. Mm-hmm. I like this pose because the spine stays erect with its natural curve. If I'm doing the deep breathing, everything's open.
So you sit on your toes? How do you do it?
So
describe it for the camera.
Come up onto my knees. The feet are together, and then the heels come apart. The toes are touching, and I sit in between my heels. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of not so much on my toes, no. And then you can put a pillow in between if you want.
So there's a pillow between your feet, between your butt cheeks?
My butt cheeks and my feet. I can do that. I don't need to do that. Mm-hmm. My way of living is I very rarely like to rely on props because I want to be able to exercise anywhere. I want to be able to meditate anywhere. I want to be able to do all the stuff without being like, oh, I can't do this because I don't have that. So I have a feeling you could relate to that. That's why I'll use my own body weight with exercise.
I can relate to that very easy. Yeah. Like quitting the gym and being, okay, I cannot do gym every single day or like everywhere in the world. Uh-huh. I want to be in the middle of the jungle and be able to do some push-ups or do a handstand so the monkey doesn't eat me. I have a message to myself from December 2021.
December 2020. You haven't read it yet?
I read it many times.
Okay, I want to hear it.
I'm Jakub. I'm 18 years old. I just wanted to say I'm happy. I'm happy as that my young...
Wait, what is that?
I would say F-U-C-K. That my younger self was brave enough to start this everything. I know that when you read it, you have tears in your eyes and little cheek smile right now because you realize how freaking much time has passed till this moment of reading. It couldn't be more dope. But I know it, and you knew it when you wrote those lines. We always wanted to be something more than just an ordinary man. Was it really what we wanted? Right now, I think we just wanted to find ourselves in this full of different personalities and traits world. There's a lot of people in this world, but we are just the only man versus... I know it's been hard, but I hope you will have, there's like some reference to the Big Bang Theory, the show. You just wanted to have somebody to spend his days with and share these parts of the soul that were so deeply hidden inside through all those years. I have tears in the eyes too. It was so dope. Life is a journey that we just want to spend the best way possible, and no forces can stop us from having these ideas going through our heads when we live our lives. We just have to do this if we want to stay happy by being the person we say to ourselves that we are. So we just gotta keep going and being who we tell ourselves we are. As for this moment, I wish you the best. I hope you'll find what you were looking for in these lines, and that the life will come to the point where you find yourself one more time in peace. And it's very hard when you're 18 and you find your peace, and now you're 22, rethinking your life again.
Tell me what it feels like to... You could either share what it feels like to read it now or what it felt like when you had first read it. How long after? A year? How long after did you first read it?
I read it for the first time after, I think, 2 years.
What did it feel like?
I felt like the time is passing, and I don't know where is it passing. It's hard. It's not painful. It's just hard to realize that impermanence, life is not lasting forever, and I didn't find the ability to enjoy that time, enjoy it fully, just be more understanding and allowing myself to truly see through my eyes at the time of being, instead of I was always focusing on the future, on the past, how those things are going to impact me or how am I impacting them. And now when I'm reading it, I'm just smiling because it's so fun. Like 18-year-old, I was younger.
Yeah.
I just wish I wrote more letters like this to myself. So much can change within one day, within one conversation. I love who I was.
Is it still happening where you feel like... Thank you for sharing that, by the way. Is it still happening where you feel like you're not in the moment and it's going by so quickly? Or do you, since you read that and hopefully your practice is now keeping you more present?
I think I didn't create any practice for this specifically when I was reading it for the first time. Yet now I do remember much more from my stay at the farm, my stay at the volunteering center that we are at right now. I remember much more because I choose to take it in. Yeah. Yesterday in the kitchen, I just was eating and then like looking around, taking circles, and memory snap. I just want to take a picture of it with my mind.
Do you know, I noticed you first, and then I pointed to you, and then everybody was looking at you. You were just sitting there with your eyes closed, eating, like so present, so in the moment. There's a famous, well, he died a few years ago, Thich Nhat Hanh. Have you heard of him? Buddhist monk. And by the way, you might hear us talk about Buddhism, but as I said, I'm not a Buddhist. I just happen to be in a Buddhist place.
Continue. I think I know him.
Yeah.
But continue.
Thich Nhat Hanh, he was known to be a man of peace all over the world. And I thought about this because of what you just said. He said, mentally, we live in the past and we try to recreate what had already happened, or we live in the future, try to create something that hasn't happened yet. he said, our minds don't understand. He called it the art of living. Our minds don't understand the art of living, which is right now. He said, life only exists in the present, which is right now, but our minds seem to be everywhere else. And so that's why, again, I'm going to keep saying it because it's worth repeating, the practice of meditation. And for those of you who have said so often, oh, I can't meditate, my mind just won't stop thinking. That's the nature of the mind. It thinks. And for me, it's been more about the training of the mind and learning to not hold on to everything that comes in. Make sense?
Makes sense. I was listening partially, I gotta be honest,
Okay.
but it makes total sense.
It'll make sense to them.
Yeah, I will re-listen to it. Don't you worry about it. I have them in a very particular spot up here. But I need to know what question I asked it. So I've been using ChatGPT for many ridiculous reasons, like self-therapy and just understanding myself a bit more. And there was... Oh, I was asking about life mentors, people who could inspire me, whose lifestyle was something resembling to my own, whose hearts were so open in certain ways. And it gave me 3 characters. It gave me, for example, Robin Williams as a mentor. But it gave me, the wisdom mentor was Miyamoto Musashi.
Okay.
He was a Japanese warrior. He was having a samurai sword and he just went on the path of independence, on the path of understanding how to get better at oneself, how to just be a better warrior.
Okay.
But it wasn't in the sense of getting better and being stronger than everyone else. It was how tightly he was holding on to the purpose of life, his meaning. There was like a different guy, the adventurer mentor, and his name is like Ibn Battuta. And it's about like exploration, learning, and immersing yourself fully in the vastness of the world. So like adventurous style.
Okay.
And the compassion mentor. You can pronounce his name
Thich
again?
Nhat Hanh, yeah. Wow.
And it tells me why your heart-led approach to life, guiding others and spreading joy, mirrors his teachings. So it gave me only 3 characters. That was my a week and a half ago realization. And I know that you were here, Jojo was here, and I was watching a video of him for an hour and a half on YouTube, him giving a teaching.
Thich Nhat Hanh.
Yes. So that's very funny you mentioned too.
Yeah. Is there? How much are we? Is it over? How much time do we have left? Because
I don't know. You set a timer.
no, I didn't. I was kidding when I said
Seriously, I was waiting for you.
no way.
I was waiting for
It's 3:00.
Yeah.
Could you share one thing that had that your heart resonated with that video? I'm sure there are many, but what like comes to mind?
I wish there were many, and possibly they are. My memory is very faded, but let's resemble at least the power of who he was. I feel. I will use the vocabulary as I feel, and I don't think. I feel that he was at the stage of his life that there was nothing else of the human life that mattered to him except the people and like the service to them. And I think he was a very keen on kindness. He wasn't only focusing on like his own adventure, like his own self-wisdom, self-discovery, self-anything. His mind, he was focused on purity of thinking, the way that if we can find our inner peace, we can help others find their own. And that's been a journey of mine. And that's what I'm doing with this podcast as well, with beautiful people like you, that we can just make sure that more and more people can find the peace to find their own spark and spark the other campfires of love, of wisdom, of compassion, of kindness everywhere in this world, wherever they go.
I gotta hold space for that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'd like, if you could send that to me, I'd like to watch the video. So I want to share one more thing.
One more thing and we finish.
Yeah, it's immediately upon my change in how I, on my path of healing, I went from destructive to healing, the first thing that I was introduced to was the Daytop philosophy. Daytop is a therapeutic community that focuses on behavior modification, and my behavior needed some modifying. And they have this philosophy, and I wanted to share it because it still applies, still resonates with my heart today. I live it. This was the foundation. It was literally the concrete, and everything else followed. But this is where it all started. I am here because there is no refuge, finally, from myself. Until I confront myself in the eyes and hearts of others, I am running. Until I suffer them to share my secrets, I have no safety from them. Afraid to be known, I could know neither myself nor any other. I will be alone. Where else but in our common ground can I find such a mirror? Here together I could at last appear clearly to myself, not as the giant of my dreams nor the dwarf of my fears, but as a person, part of a whole with my share in its purpose. In this ground, in this root, I could take root and grow, not alone anymore as in death, but alive to myself and to others.
What makes you happy?
Ice cream.
Ice cream. I wanted to say community, people, love.
Vegan ice cream and chocolate.
I would say pizza. Not vegan, lots of meat, lots of pineapple. Okay, any last words?
A Sanskrit prayer. You repeat after me.
Okay.
Loka
Loka
samasta
samasta
sukhino
sukhino
bhavantu.
bhavantu.
And that means may the entire universe be filled with peace and joy, love and light. And then we say, may the light of truth overcome all darkness. And together we go, victory to that light.
Let's go! Bring it in, buddy. Oh my goodness, my legs hurt. But thank you. Thank you for opening your heart. That was beautiful. Let's hold space for that.
The end.